majority to take full control of the council, but that didn't happen. They only got 31. So then there was this period of limbo. You know, talks were happening. There were talks, and the talks involved Labour as well. So,
Yeah.
you know, Ergen Erbil, the former council leader, he was involved in talking to the Greens as well, trying to persuade the Greens to side with him instead of siding with the Tories. Um, Now, my insight is essentially that the Greens, I think the Greens were knew how powerful they were,
Yeah.
knew that they didn't want to just kind of immediately just sort of jump into one thing or the other. So they played a bit of a long game and they kept people guessing as well. So there was a bit of nervousness, I think, going into Wednesday's meeting. So Wednesday's meeting was the meeting where this was all ultimately going to come to a head because it's the annual meeting,
Yeah.
and it means that, in the constitution, they have to pick a leader, they have to pick a cabinet, and they have to pick a mayor.
Was there
And
plenty
this
of
is all,
shouting? I can't believe I missed it. I had it. I really wanted to go. Was there shouting? Was it atmospheric?
um, well,
Because Labour called
this,
them a disgrace. They
yeah,
were
yeah.
shouting at them.
Well, there's this funny thing with Enfield full council meetings, and this has been the case for years because I've seen a lot of these meetings, is it always starts really sort of there's always
Quiet
a
and
nice sort of, they always have prayers at the beginning, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
which is nice.
Yeah, nice, and it's not always the same denomination either. They have different, they have all the different religions represented. Anyway, this week it was I don't know his name, but I think he's a reverend or whatever. But yeah, he was giving a really nice saying how important it is to come together and be nice to each other and all of this stuff, and everyone's being all like respectful and
How long did it take till they?
well,
Well, they started throwing shoes
um,
at each other. Yeah.
but also at that point, after that we then had the mayor stuff, right? And the mayor stuff was really lovely because you've got Margaret Greer, who's the
Oh
former
no.
mayor.
Oh,
She's
bless her
popular.
heart.
Everyone loves her, right?
Great mayor, great mayor.
Yeah, great mayor. No one's got a bad word to say. So everyone's saying really nice things about Margaret Greer, and then she's giving her farewell speech, and um so it's all very, very nice, and then Emma is then sort of elected as the leader, but as the mayor. But that moment when Emma is selected as the mayor is the first indication of what's about to happen because the Greens abstained on
Yeah.
the vote for mayor,
Okay,
and the moment when the Greens abstained on the vote for mayor, basically everyone knew that that meant the Greens were going to abstain as
For
well
everything.
on
Yeah.
everything and the vote for leader. So that was the moment that people knew because there were doubts, right? People were going into it because
Yeah.
the Greens had not shaken anyone's hands on a
No.
deal. So they didn't know. They didn't, and these I think these Green councillors are kind of because they're not people who have been on the council before, people didn't know, whether to trust them, believe them, what was going to happen. So, yeah, it was quite interesting that moment when they abstained. I was looking around the room and I was seeing the shocked faces from Labour, and then there was sort of the relief on the faces of the Conservatives. So,
Conservatives. Yeah.
but yeah, and then Emma became mayor, and then obviously, she gave a lovely speech as well. And I think she's also, universally kind of liked as well. So that's nice. And
she won a lifetime achievement award. If you remember at the Enfield Business Awards,
right.
I think her work, her tireless work with the Brownies and the Scouts, and her as a podiatrist, she genuinely cares about where she lives. So I big thumbs up for Emma, and hopefully she's going to come on the show today. So we'll see.
Yeah. And yeah, and she's been a leader of the second Enfield Brownies. She's been the brown owl for like 30 years or something, which is crazy.
She's
Um that's
lovely.
bonkers.
She's a lovely person.
Yeah, yeah. And then Alex Georgie made a joke about her putting her best foot forward or something like that
Oh, God.
as a podiatrist. Um, yeah, so then all the mayoral stuff happened, and then, but as I said, at that point, people kind of were like, "Oh, right, the Greens are going to abstain." So the next opportunity that Ergin Erbil got to speak, everything changed, and all of a sudden the mood flipped from everyone being nice to each other to all of a sudden Ergin was sort of laying into the Greens and saying they betrayed Enfield.
Uh,
Um, and all of this stuff. And all of a sudden, it went back to, Enfield politics being kind of a bit nasty. And that's unfortunately that's the pattern that I've seen for years and years is that it starts off nice and lovely and then it turns nasty. Um, so yeah,
well,
but what was interesting,
if this
yeah,
tribal thing continues, James,
yeah,
and the Greens just keep abstaining, and
mm,
Labour don't want to do a deal with the Greens,
mm.
we've literally got a Conservative council, pretty much, right?
Yeah, but I don't know, it's hard to predict, but I don't think the Greens are going to abstain on every single vote,
I hope not.
going forward. They did on Wednesday.
Malcolm's opinion before we came on was that the point we would be angry as constituents if that's
Completely.
all they're going to do,
Could there be a completely what a waste of a vote if they're not gonna participate? What's the point?
or have an opinion.
No, I think they will. I think Wednesday was just that occasion where they did, for their purposes, they did need to abstain. I think everyone was expecting Alex to become the council leader, but it wasn't finalized in a formal way. There's no coalition, there's no, actual like contract deal. It's just a case of the Greens is sort of a nod and a wink. Okay, fine, we'll let you become the leader, but I think at some point we will see the Greens actually oppose something that the Tories want to push through, and it will probably be something like cycle lanes or something to do with LTNs or active travel. Because those are the tensions. Those are the policies where the Greens and the Tories diverge very significantly. So we will see that eventually. We just on Wednesday it was just a case of Alex was going to become leader. For that to happen, the Greens were going to abstain. I think even though the Greens did keep their cards close to their chest, I think the chances of them doing a deal with Labour, given what Labour want to do with the Green Belt and with White Webs, it was just the chances of that happening, of the Greens sort of propping up a Labour administration was so remote.
I heard
Um,
from some sources of mine that actually the Labour Party were told not to do any deals with the Greens, and that came from high up because they don't want to be perceived that they're getting in bed with the Greens because it could affect them later on.
Yeah, no, you're right, and that's another reason why it just. I mean, I think there are examples around the country of local councillors ignoring what they've been told by the National Party. So
Yeah,
even though they had been told that is it didn't they are still democratically elected in Enfield and could have done something different if they'd wanted, but there might have been repercussions. But yeah,
yeah.
anyway, it was never likely. I think maybe Labour themselves had maybe sort of tried to maybe kid themselves that it might happen, but I don't think it was ever likely to happen.
And the Greens were
Uh,
offered quite a, from what I gather, from what I heard, that quite a sweet deal on the mayorship. If they were going to go in, the Conservatives were going to be mayor first year, the Greens were going to be mayor second and third, and then the
We
Conservatives.
we had one of the Greens on last week, and he was really he said, "I'm not here to muck around. I want an important role. I want to be like." He didn't say on the
no,
cabinet or something. I
who
want
who was
something.
it? Who did you have on?
That young man that's been on all the parties,
the
gone
one,
to
yeah,
Liberals, and
yeah.
um,
Okay,
So he was earmarked to be mayor, either the second or the third
he
year.
fancies it. He's not mucking around. Very ambitious guy, and he said, "Look, I'm not here to play. I want a big role." So
okay. Well, I'm
Emma's
I'm
just
not
said she's going
aware.
to be with us at 9:30. By the way,
Okay, I'm not aware that there has been any deal like that. Um, Yeah, as far as I know, what's happened is, the Greens didn't sort of formally agree to anything, but
No.
because the Greens obviously do want to protect the green belt, stop the Newtown, stop the white webs thing happening, they just sort of quietly abstained. But when they need to, they will, speak up and oppose things if necessary, but it's going to be on a case by case basis. That's my understanding.
Yeah.
Maybe there might be stuff that I'm not aware of yet that might
Yeah.
may
Well, it was,
but
Do you know, James? You come. Your reputation precedes you before you've even entered the room. I think politicians are scared of you. I think they worry. They worry about you. But you are a good man. You wouldn't make up a story. Like
no.
you want to uncover the truth. And if politicians just were had a bit more
Yeah.
backbone, they would be fearless of you, sir.
Yeah.
okay, well, I,
They are
I don't,
worried about you.
yeah, okay.
No, I mean,
I'm not sure
any
I'm not sure they
politician.
all
I
are. I
think
think
politicians don't like the truth. It's as simple as that.
Oh, I don't. I really want to believe politicians get in it for the good. Like Emma, I'm sure she's done it to
Yeah.
make Enfield a better place. But some councillors that just don't turn up, or they're doing it for the PC and the mobile phone. I have no time for them.
look, what I say to people, and they don't always listen, but what I say to people is it's always better if you're a politician, it's always better to talk to local journalists, talk to the press,
Yeah.
than to ignore them or even worse, to sort of be hostile because even if that journalist is writing something that you don't like, it's still better to express your opinion and give your side of the story to that journalist. So yeah, that's what I would advise if there's any counsellors listening is talk to me if I approach you because it's always better that
Yeah.
way.
Absolutely. So, 27th, everyone got signed up to who was doing what job, and they didn't hang around, did they? They've already put some notices in. Tell them what's been done so far.
Yeah. Morning, Andrew.
Good morning,
Uh,
Andrew.
I've got to leave at 9:30. I've got
What?
an all-day session at Chicken Shed. So
You know, in this bag,
you said you'd wear something today, and you haven't worn it.
I don't. I think it's going to make me really itchy. I asked my favourite Spurs fan if he'd give me his top, and James, I don't know your opinion. I've been told all last night. I was just getting banter from my friends saying I'm not a real Arsenal fan. Let me just tell you, I am a real Arsenal fan. I've been an Arsenal fan since I was 5. I
No,
was a
I
junior
don't
gunner.
accept that because you made a promise last week that you've broken.
So look, if I put this on, I'm still an Arsenal fan. And I'm telling you, I feel so sorry. If I'd known, I'd just worn a West Ham shirt. I said I'll put this on to show I
Okay.
didn't want
Before you
Spurs to
do,
go up.
I'm not going to speak for long because James is far more important than I am, and then
Oh,
you've got Emma. So, no.
can't I just do
I don't
that?
quite understand what's going on here, but you must have lost a bet or something, Gary, right?
No,
Can't I
what
just
happened was Gary
that'll
wore an
do?
Arsenal shirt last week, and he said if Spurs stay up, he promised to wear a Spurs one.
Oh, right.
Does
Okay.
that make me a non-Arsenal fan?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not putting on.
You shouldn't
I'm
go.
an Arsenal fan.
Shouldn't go
That was
anywhere near a top
that was
shirt.
really hard just to do that.
Yeah.
But let's get serious again. Let's get back to politics.
Right, yeah. So what's happened since Wednesday? Well, I think Andrew's gonna like this. So Alex has refused to sign the lease for White Webs, right? So what that means is, so obviously Spurs had already got planning permission to build
Yeah.
their women's training center on White Webs Park, very controversially. But that planning permission was done. However, for Spurs to be able to sort of take actual like control of what is a public park at the moment,
Yeah.
they need the lease. They
Yeah.
need the council to lease them the land, right? And
Yeah.
that was supposed to be a 25-year lease that Spurs were going to pay £2 million for.
Pittance.
But that,
Absolute pittance.
yeah, not much to one of the richest football clubs in the world, no.
For 25
Um,
years, yeah, ridiculous.
um, but that lease, and I don't really understand how or why, but this lease was not signed before the election. So, I mean, you might think that given that planning permission was granted in
They want
August
to get
last
the
year,
Yeah.
and there were 9 months between August and the May election,
You
you
want to
might
get ink on
think
the
that
paper, yeah.
they would have managed to get, the lease to be signed, but apparently not. And that left the door wide open for the Tories to then come in
And say,
and
sorry,
say, well, we're not going to
nothing
sign
about
this
it.
lease, guys. Sorry.
That's it.
So so
They're
without the
buggered. They're
lease,
screwed. That's it.
what can they do? They're not,
No.
if they try to build a women's training center on a piece of land that they don't have, the
Yeah,
rights to, then
yeah, they'll
that's
just get.
illegal.
Yeah, and they can't legally force the council to sign anything.
Well, what I would say is I'm not a lawyer, and
Yeah,
I don't know whether there is some kind of, maybe there was some kind of pre-agreement. I don't know, like maybe there's a window of opportunity that Spurs with their very
yeah,
expensive lawyers will be able to come in and say, "Oh yeah, but we had this expectation this would happen or something." I don't know.
yeah,
But I think given that now Enfield Council is going to be doing everything in its power to stop them, my feeling is that Spurs will, and
give up.
obviously bear in mind that Spurs already have a training centre in Enfield.
Yep.
They don't want to have a really, really negative relationship with the council if they can help it, because there's probably going to be other things in future that
Yeah,
Spurs will want to have to, there'll be other things that the Spurs will want to do with the council in future. So they don't want to have an actively hostile council. So I think if Spurs are being sensible about this, they would sort of maybe concede that the White Webs thing isn't going to happen, but then maybe try and come up with an alternative site for the training centre, perhaps, or
it's
some
So
kind of
when
alternative thing.
when what you've been saying for ages that the Greens have power now in Enfield Council, surely the fact that Giorgio said no, I'm not signing it, that 32-31 comes into play regardless of what the Greens say, or what, or how does it work?
I don't think there needs to be a vote on the council
no,
on this one.
no.
This is just a simple case of is the leader of the council willing to put his pen on a piece of paper to say to
Yeah,
sign off the land to Spurs?
Oh, I see.
I
yeah.
don't think there needs to be a vote.
You've already been through all that. Is it a good
Yeah,
idea? Was it a bad idea? That's all been done and gone through. It's simply
yeah.
a matter of yeah, we want you to build on our land, but to build on it, you need to sign the lease. And if they're not going to give them the lease to sign,
I can't
they're
believe that.
stuck.
I can't believe. I want to believe, but I can't believe that Enfield Council will have the power
And
over
how
Spurs.
much money has been spent if you totted up all that money?
Yeah, it's kind of ridiculous when you think about it, but yeah, this is what's happened.
Yeah,
It was such, this plus the Greenbelt, the Newtown stuff was such a deeply unpopular thing that the council
yeah,
was pursuing that it's basically cost them the election.
That's how cocky they were, that they thought that they could really push something so unpopular. Family that don't even care about politics will talk to me about this. Everyone was talking about the new town,
Yes.
and hugely unpopular.
Yeah.
Well, but so both the White Webs thing and the Greenbelt stuff, both of those things were conceived by the Labour-led council, not after the 2022 election, but after the 2018 election.
yeah,
And at that point, and after the 2018 election, they had 46 councillors, right? So they were dominant.
yeah.
That was the best. The 2018 election was the best election Labour has ever had in this borough. They were completely dominant. And I think maybe they believed because they were so sort of omnipresent in Enfield at that point, they believed that even if they did lose votes and lose councillors over these sort of unpopular decisions, that it would not get to the point that it has got to where they would
James,
actually lose
can I
control
ask,
over it.
is it completely ludicrous to say because of our debt that they were just pushed into a corner and that was the only way we're going to get out of debt? Because I don't know how the Conservatives are going to claw back. It's in the billions.
Yeah,
We owe a lot of money, and how the hell we're going to get out of this
yeah,
trouble? And I thought that this was all, like the 20 mile an hour zone. The Khan is going to give the council money. All these unpopular things, they were just going to do it just to get the money. I don't know how we're going to do it.
Well,
It's
in the case
a
of
lot
White
of
Webs,
money.
we're only talking about 2 million, aren't we? We've already discussed that. It's
yeah.
only 2 million.
It's
I mean,
nothing.
if it was a money thing with White Webs, the
Yeah.
council should have been pushing to get
Oh yeah,
10
2 million a
million,
year.
20 million,
Yeah, that's
30 million.
exactly. And the biggest problem at the moment is Meridian Water. It is an
I,
absolute. Go on, sorry, Andrew.
but surely, James, it is a money thing because on the basis of it doesn't matter how little is paid, the council need it desperately.
Yeah, but one speed camera in put up will
I'm
take
talking
them
about
through
white
that in a
webs.
year.
I'm talking about white webs.
I know, yeah, that's what I'm saying. But it's true. One speed camera. You look at the deals, or how much those speed
You're
cameras.
not, in
Look,
other words, would take the
But
small deal, would
I
take
think that
any deal rather than no deal.
the speed camera stuff is ring fenced, that you're not allowed to spend it on just anything you fancy.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. There's always ways around
But
that.
also remember that only a few months ago, Enfield was given
Yeah,
the best deal from the
exactly.
government in terms of the fair funding review, a better deal than any other council in London.
Will that still happen?
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
yeah,
That's
that's happening. That's
yeah.
already happening. They've already received some of that
So
money.
why, I've got a question. Why would the Greens abstain over the mayor?
Because they've done a deal so they can get the mayor next year.
Is that right?
Well, we don't know that, Gary. We don't. We
We
don't.
don't
We
know
don't.
No,
that.
we
We
don't
don't
do
know
We
that.
that.
don't know that.
In
Reading
your
between
opinion,
the
James,
lines.
why
Well,
would you
yeah.
abstain over the mayor? Right.
Well,
Well,
they just
okay, because the choice that the Greens had was vote in favour of Labour, which, as I said before, they weren't going to do because they want to save the green belt just like the Tories do. They want to save
yeah,
white webs just like the Tories do. They could have voted in favour of the Conservative administration, but then that by doing that, you are essentially, opening yourself up to, being accused of, yeah, going into a
Oh, I
coalition
see.
with the
Yeah.
Tories.
We
And
voted
then,
for a Tory mayor sort of thing.
yeah, and then they would have been, that would have, because ultimately the Green Party is a left-wing party, the Conservatives
yeah.
are a
It
right-wing
is.
party, right?
Yeah,
These
Yeah.
parties are quite far apart politically,
Yeah.
and they don't really want to have to, be voting in favour of Tories.
Got it.
But abstaining gives them that sort of plausible deniability kind of thing.
yeah,
That's great.
Although
Plausible denial.
Labour has obviously gone hard in accusing them of betraying voters anyway, but
Okay, that
anyway, that's
explains
why.
it. Thank
But
you.
I should just
everything's
talk
gonna.
about the new town as well.
Yeah.
So the White Webs thing, I think the White Webs thing is I'm not saying it's completely simple, but it's a lot simpler. It's a
Than
lot
than
more
the new town.
simple than the new town. The new town is kind of complex and messy, and I think the new town thing it's going to drag on and on because basically it's a government-led scheme,
It's a
right?
government scheme. That's it.
And
It's
it
not.
and it's a Labour government,
Yes.
and if they want it to happen, it'll happen.
Yeah.
But we can drag it
Um,
out until there's a new administration. Maybe I cannot. I was out last night having a beer with friends. The general vibe, and some of these guys are quite left. They're Labour people. They're not voting for Labour to get back in. They're very, very unhappy with the Labour. I haven't found many people to say, right, I'm Labour strong. I'm gonna vote for Labour again. I think we might see a new
all right.
administration.
Well, I mean, look, the next general election is still quite a way away, so I
Yeah.
think
2 years.
look, if we sort of deal with the situation as it is now. We've got a Labour government, but we've got a Tory-run council. I think it's going to be incredibly messy. It's going to get a bit ugly. We've got obviously the Sadiq Khan as well is obviously, so
He's
Sadiq Khan previously was saying that he wanted to protect the green belt. That changed 18
yeah.
months. So he had that in his
I know.
manifestos to begin with. That and then as soon as the Labour government came in, he had to change his tune because he didn't want to be seen to be opposing what the government's doing. So now all of a sudden Khan is siding with the government on this and saying, "Yep, let's build the new town at Enfield, let's build on the green belt." So yeah, although the council, so basically, Councillor Georgiou, the council leader, his first act as leader was to write a letter to the minister, the housing minister, and to say the council is no longer going to be part of this. We're not going to support this. But by doing that, obviously you make your intentions clear,
Yeah.
but it doesn't really change that much in terms of the government. If the government wants to do it, they'll do
They'll
it.
do it. Yeah. Exactly.
And so I think it is going to get very ugly. I mean, I'm sure if Councillor Georgiou will say, "Well, we can do this, we can do this, we can do this," but ultimately, I think if the government decides they want to, they will.
But the problem's
So,
going to be though.
And with white webs, do you know whether the letter has been written to Spurs yet?
Um, I believe it hasn't yet because I think there might be some discussions happening with Spurs potentially in terms of like I was saying earlier, like with Spurs you don't want to be actively too hostile to Spurs given that they do already have a training center here. And they are the big football club in this part of the world and yeah, so
Andrew,
but there might be more news on it next week, Andrew, so look
can
out
you
for that.
Okay,
see,
great. I have to go
ima-
in 5 minutes, so go
Andrew,
on then.
imagine a day that you see public golf back there.
That will never happen, I don't think.
I know, I don't think that will
That
happen,
won't
but
happen.
imagine a
No.
day that
No, it
I
won't
think that'll
happen.
be
The
very
problem's
I'm
going to
popular.
sorry,
be
I know you've
though.
got Emma coming on. If you want,
Yeah,
I'll make it really quick,
yeah.
if you don't mind, because I've got an all-day workshop at Chicken Shed in half an hour, so I have to go. But really, if you don't mind, there's only one sporting event to talk about today. I mean, there are loads of sport going on. It's the Challenge Cup final in rugby league between Wigan and Hull Kingston Rovers. If you're a rugby fan, the French Open now. I don't know if you know, guys, but for the first time in years, neither Alcaraz nor Sinner can win the French Open because Sinner lost his match when he was injured the other day, and Alcaraz it didn't even enter, and Djokovic lost yesterday. So there's going to be
What's this story about everybody getting hurt with the balls?
I haven't heard that. I've heard about the
Okay,
money story, but I
okay.
haven't heard that. It's something that you've caught me on the hot with, Gary. But it means with Djokovic losing yesterday as well, there's going to be in the men's draw at least a new name almost certainly on the trophy, which is you could say, I think probably a good thing, but a good thing in a bad way because Sinner was injured when he lost, and now Alcaraz hasn't even entered because he's injured. But I think on balance, a good thing to have a new name on the French Open Trophy. But of course, the big event over the weekend, as you'll know very well, Malcolm and Gary, and of course James, but for different reasons, is tonight's showdown, Champions League final, where Arsenal are trying to get the pretty unique double of Premier League and Champions League, and they still bruised from losing the Champions League final in 2006 to Barcelona. So 20 years on, they're
Yeah.
having another crack at it, and they're up against.
And the first time ever, it's not free.
Well, it's
It's
not
not
free to
free to
air. It's
watch.
no, you
The
still got to
Kia
watch it.
wasn't happy about that,
Still got
and
to watch it on.
the fact that Crystal Palace and Villa have won something, England will be in a very unique place that we did the
Yeah,
triple
I
as a
mean,
country.
I don't think Arsenal will be thinking about Villa and Palace, to be honest. But you're right. If they were to win it, it would be a remarkable treble. But I would putting my if I put my professional hat on rather than my personal hat on, you've always got a chance in a two-horse race, but they're going to have to really go some to get over the line against PSG, who are a class act, all over the pitch. I thought then PSG might lose the semi to Bayern, but they proved just what an amazing side they are. So yeah, I mean, it's again, everyone's got a chance in a two-horse race, but here's what it is. And then, of course, last Saturday after the Southampton debacle, we had what my other half, being a Southampton fan, would call poetic justice, with Middlesbrough losing the playoff final to Hull City, who perhaps are the most unlikely Premier League team for years because last year they escaped relegation by the skin of their teeth.
Andrew, if I turn up with a Polaroid camera and watch Enfield Town and pretend to be watching you training, that might make the
So
news.
you'll get a season ticket for life, Gary.
Yeah.
Um, but so Hull City now are having just escaped relegation a year ago, and now incredibly taking their place in the Premier League, and Middlesbrough licking their wounds, after the Spygate scandal. So
Yeah.
they're all manner of ironies and going on with this. So um, that's kind of wrap things
Beautifully
up for
done.
me
You wrapped up the sports really well,
pretty
James.
quickly. Unless you've got any
Your home
questions.
team, how are they doing this season before we move back to local?
Can I just say before, sorry, James, can I just say, but that I didn't go last night, but on Thursday night we had at Enfield Town we had a meet the manager. There's a new manager of Enfield Town. The place was, from what I hear, absolutely packed out, and we wait and see, what kind of team he puts together for the new season. The friendlies start very early this year, July the 4th. So there'll be a lot to talk about in the weeks ahead. Yeah. So that's
Thank you, Andrew.
that wraps it up. James,
Wonderful.
Ipswich.
Ipswich.
Ipswich have been promoted, Gary. Yeah, it was about 4 weeks ago now. Feels like a lifetime ago. Because the championship season ends a lot sooner than the Premier League season. Like there's
Yeah.
like a 3 week gap. Yeah, I was there and I was on the pitch, Gary. I kissed the Portman
Oh,
Road
you were
turf.
were you the one naked one running down the middle, running down the centre line?
No, that wasn't me.
Brilliant. Well,
Yeah,
I'm
that was
gonna
great.
put Ipswich as my, like, if I, you
It's always
keep an
your
eye,
backup team,
yeah, you
yeah.
keep an eye out for stuff. So I'll keep an eye out for
That's
Ipswich.
nice.
We all
Thanks,
do
Gary.
because
Yeah.
of James, but
Yeah.
they've got to go some to hang on to the manager. So we'll see.
Oh no, he's loyal. He's loyal, Andrew. He loves us. His kids go to the local school in Ipswich. They
Really?
love it.
Okay.
Who wouldn't
Brilliant.
want to live in Suffolk? You know how lovely Suffolk is,
I
Andrew. Who
do.
wouldn't want to live in Suffolk? Come on.
I know.
Yeah.
Well, hang on. Who wouldn't live in Suffolk? We wanted to until a certain election took place.
Oh,
So,
oh, okay.
Who wouldn't want to live in Enfield? Come on.
Everyone wants to live in Enfield.
yeah.
So,
Of course.
Andrew, I know you've
Right,
got to shoot.
back to the agenda.
Let's go.
2
What
minutes.
else is hot on the press?
We should
James?
read a few. Mr. Giorgio, this is from Louise. Mr.
Yeah.
Giorgio will be a great leader because he knows how to lead and listens to the residents. And that's from Louise. We white webs regarding Spurs, just like
The farmer says, "Get off my land."
Yeah, get off my land. James should
Get
be
off
aware.
my land.
James should be very should have mixed feelings about Ipswich because and Suffolk because as you both know it's reformed territory now, Suffolk. So
Yeah, that's the point Andrew was making before.
that's the downside.
That was the downside.
Yeah.
So, what else? Anything else local that's hot off the press?
Well, I was going to mention Ferrell Clark, so I thought this was
Yeah,
interesting because she issued a statement the day after we got our new council leader, basically saying that every single thing that the Tories are going to all their spending plans for the next 4 years, because they've got a lot of things they want to do. They want to,
yeah,
I think the big one is reintroducing weekly bin collections.
yeah.
So
Not
I
going
think
to
most
happen.
of you don't think it's going to happen. Why not?
I don't know.
The money's not there.
And people have
It's
got used to
No, this is the point. The money is there because, well, I'm not saying that they're suddenly flushed with cash, and I've sort of tried to explain this several times before, but there is more flexibility than there was before, and the reason that Ferriol Clark decided to issue this statement was because she doesn't want the Tories to be given all the credit for the things that are going to be happening, like the bin collections and you know. Things like they're going to reintroduce lollipop school crossing patrol, the lollipop wardens. They're going to like things
My
like this.
mum was a lollipop lady.
What?
Fantastic job. Yeah, my mum was a lollipop lady at a local school. She did it for years. It's a beautiful job, and we should never have got rid of them.
Well, I mean, that's a manifesto commitment the Tories made, so I think that will happen. And things like extra,
Yeah,
more antisocial behaviour officers, and then enforcement officers for fly tipping and the bin collections. There's a lot of stuff, and Ferrell, I think, wanted to sort of get ahead of all of this and sort of say, well, the only reason they're going to have any money to spend is thanks to the Labour government, which I thought was yeah.
yeah, but that's
I
just the
thought that might
typical
ruffle a few feathers
spin,
when she said that.
isn't it? I mean, it's the same as when a new government takes over. Oh, we can't do this because the previous government left us no money. It's easy to blame the previous government on anything.
for the
Obviously,
record.
the counterpoint is
Yeah.
obviously that under Labour, the council racked up 1.5 billion of debt, and that's the
Yeah,
counterpoint. So I'm sure the Tories will make that point when later on.
And it's very interesting. Before I go, obviously, I'm delighted about the white webs thing, but you do ask the question, what well, it begs the question, what will the Tories do to what will the Tories do to wipe out the current debt if white webs? I know it's only 2 million, but if white webs doesn't take place, how are they going to
But
absorb?
Andrew, it's only 2 million. Like we've said this. Like the white in terms of the money thing, the white webs thing doesn't really touch the sides.
Yeah.
No, the big thing is Meridian Water, right? So Meridian
Yeah,
Water is the problem in terms of money because there's about 500 million of debt has gone into, of borrowing, but debt
yeah.
has gone into Meridian Water. And the idea when that money was spent, the idea was, well, if Meridian Water will become, money making. Once people are buying the
Move
flats and
in.
then
Yeah.
you're getting the money back from developers and stuff, it will pay for itself. But at the moment, it's not paying for itself because
No,
Right.
a lot of these flats are unsold. And I keep,
they can't sell.
at the very beginning when the first private sale flats at Meridian Water went on the market, I signed up for it I pretended that I wanted to buy one of them, and ever since then I've been getting sales emails from Meridian Water, and that was started in 2022, and we're now in 2026, and I'm still getting emails from Meridian Water saying there are flats for sale. We're knocking £10,000 off the price, and I'm like, how have you not sold these yet? It's 4 years.
No, I know. They
So
can't
they're
sell
in
them.
trouble. Meridian Water is a hot mess. And it's going to be really difficult for this council to get a grip on Meridian Water
'Cause
and to make it a
if you
success.
work in the West End, you're in a really good location. The location's perfect. For me, it feels like concrete jungle. It feels like there's not much around, and it's just tricky.
Hello, Madam Mayor.
Madam Mayor,
Madam Mayor.
does
Yeah,
that fit okay? The word Madam Mayor.
you're on mute, Emma.
Oh,
That's it.
There
Off.
we go.
There we go.
Good morning.
Good morning.
does it fit
Morning.
okay, Madam Mayor?
It does indeed. Although obviously if you spell it, it's Mad M, and that has so perhaps it's not. Perhaps I was destined for this one. My mother named me Emma.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a whirlwind. It certainly. I was laughing with one of my friends. I said this was so not on my bingo card list for 2026. When you're raising a glass of something for January, this was not it. But I'm
Now,
very excited, and I
good.
have to
You've
admit,
got some big shoes to fill. We have
I
to say,
have indeed.
Margaret was awesome. I'm sure you're going to be just as good.
Your popularity is unbelievable. When you read, I do watch a lot of social media. I'm in there. You are so popular. So popular because you proved time and again that you love young people, you love Enfield Town. I'm so excited to support you through whatever you need in the next 12 months. I'm sure James has got a question or two, but I'm as your friend, I'm so proud of you.
Thank you. And Margaret has literally sung her way around the borough. I mean that voice. So I mean I like to sing. I'm a good hymn singer, but I'm following in very big footsteps, and it's really nice because obviously the mayoral role is very visible. I went to the bank yesterday, got greeted as Madam Mayor, went to the market, got greeted. Didn't take more than, honestly, old brownies, people, and that one lady appeared in front of me, and bless her, she said, "I used to be your midwife." I said, "Oh my gosh." So you just don't realize how far the ripples of your life go. And there are moments like this where you can really sort of sit back and go, gosh, I think over years being kind to people really is important. And then there are times when you find that they have a moment to be kind back to you is very special. And to be on the receiving side of that is amazing. But obviously the role of mayor is promoting and being the first citizen. And it's my turn. It's only a year and it will go in a blink. There's a reason why they only give this to person for a year, because it's so intense. It's a tried and trusted method. And I'm stepping into shoes where Cooler and the chauffeurs and the team, they know what they're doing. Most of the time, the mayor will have had some preparation. I haven't. So that's good because it gives me a chance to sort of have a fresh sheet of paper. But obviously, I've got ideas. And I'm very interested in history, as you know, and learning more. And I think I touched on that in my speech, just the things that I want to learn more about. And yesterday, Kula and I were in the parlour, although she keeps telling me it's my parlour, which I find interesting. And we were looking at the shields, the amazing shields that are part of Edmonton, Southgate, Enfield's history. Obviously, the maces are on display, but these shields are not. So one of my first tasks is to get the archivist in to start teaching us more about what we've got, why we've got it. There's the most charming medallion that was given by the school children of Enfield in 1955 to the Lady Mayoress. It's silver, it's beautifully enameled. Everybody must have contributed a shilling to this, and it's just sitting in a drawer, and it needs to be brought out and shown and be a treasure, because it's a real mark of who we are and where we've been and what's coming next. So I'm very excited. And the other thing that we've got to do as a priority on Monday is there isn't a portrait of His Majesty the King in the Mayor's Parlour. So that's my job. Yes.
Yeah, I'm a very big royalist, and I think that's the thing. I mean, think, Emma. I know you say, "Oh, it's only a year and it'll go quick," but your name will be on that plaque as a mayor for eternity. You know, you'll always be remembered.
Yeah, and that's really important. I mean, obviously, my mum and dad were watching it in Shropshire. They settled in Shropshire, and I sort of said, well, it might not happen, because, as James was saying, there wasn't any certainty to Wednesday night. And my dad said, "Oh, your cousin was the mayor of Bootle." I said, "Really?" And he said, "Oh, yes." And then my aunt said, "Oh, no, so and so married Bill Wiseman, and he was the mayor of Bootle." So I said, we're a bit top tenuous then, aren't we, Dad? And he said, "Yes." He said, "No, you're the first."
Wonderful.
James, as the person that's the most professional interviewer, if you want to ask Emma some questions officially, we've been joined by Pane, who is the chair of a really lovely charity in Enfield. So I just wanted to say hello. Hi, good morning. James, over to you. Emma, just so you know, James comes on the show once a month. It's just coincidental that he's here and you're here, and it just makes sense to ask a question. Go for it, James.
Well, I don't know. I don't know how political Emma can be as the mayor, but in your speech you were talking about charities, and I think you said you hadn't chosen a charity yet, because that's a big thing of being mayor is fundraising, isn't it? So, have you thought any more about that since then?
I have been, and you're right. You know, the deputy mayor has a whole year. I tell you what is happening though, and I've done it before. There's Enfield Chase Community School. They're, I forget what year they are. That's going to say, I think maybe year 11. I'm not sure. They do a charity first thing. So the school kids themselves have been looking with a charity at local charities in Enfield. They then produce it in front of judges. I was one of the judges a couple of years ago. And then the charity that we award gets £1,000 from this. Future First, I think, is the company. So I think that's going to be a win-win, because the kids are going to have me as the mayor there. We're going to judge. They will have done their research. And I remember walking away last time, it was a couple of years ago, I was invited to go. And honestly, these kids did the most amazing research, had really gone into it. They dramatized it. They wrote essays about it. It's their sort of summertime project. So they must be the year before they do GCSEs that year.
But
And
nobody would think any less of you if one of the charities was Girl Guides and Brownies.
I realised
You're
that,
allowed
but
three.
but this is only next week, and I think it's just it'll be and I don't need to make a decision just yet, but it'll be a fabulous opportunity for the young people to be involved in making those decisions. It also doesn't have to be three. I've been speaking to people, and one mayor had 11. Some people do micro. So just because people have done something in the past doesn't mean that I have to do it, and then future mayors will run their own program. Obviously the history of Enfield is very important to me, young people, but I think most of all, and that's certainly what I was trying to say when I sort of sat down in the chair, is businesses. We need a thriving Enfield. We need employment. We need people getting into work, and so promoting businesses is going to be something I'm really focused on, because that's massive. I was very lucky as councillor last year to go to Kelly Enterprises in up the A10. Oh
Yeah.
my word, the work they're doing, which is national, and we've got it on our doorstep. And that
Yeah.
is jobs for young people, plumbing, electricians, solar panels, all the things that are really important. So I'm going to go back there in my new capacity and start networking. The mayor's parlour is mine, and I've put in some dates already to have some set dates for afternoon tea. So we'll have tea, scones, lashings of ginger beer, and I'm going to make sure that we bring people together. I mean, you're brilliant at it, Gary. Absolutely brilliant at that, bringing that together. And I think you and I, with one of our skills is recognizing talent in other people. And another, the other thing that we're very good at is we allow people to make mistakes around us, and we're ready to pick those mistakes up and then move forward, because that is the only way you're going to be learning. And that's what young people need to see, that things don't need to be perfect from the outset.
No, that's wonderful. I mean, especially young. You're talking about young people. I mean, it was announced, the government said there's now 1 million young people unemployed that don't have jobs. It's terrible, and there's no future. I mean, I listened yesterday on the radio, and there was one guy. He got his degree. He applied for 240 jobs. Half of them they didn't even respond, and in the end, he got his job. The only job he could get was a barista at one of the major chains of coffee shops.
Well, I think the foundations, that I can only speak for my experience, but I was with a head teacher of a PRU, like where you get expelled and then it's a special place. And I said to her, look, I've got a young daughter. What do you recommend? The first thing she said is get her into Girl Guides. First thing. So supporting the scouts and the Girl Guides, I think, is so important, that we're giving and work experience. The local schools struggle. Pane, you are a charity. You're a chair of a charity. Here's your opportunity. What a segue. See you ready.
What
And
am I? Tell
just
me.
say
Tell
hi.
me
Just
what
say who you
to
are. You
know,
popped on.
Gary.
Tell us who you are, what charity you do.
Here's your chance.
So, Emma, Mayor Supple, congratulations,
Thank
first
you.
and foremost.
Thank you.
We look forward to working with you and seeing you both on a professional and a personal level. So I'm the chair of trustees of an Enfield-based charity called Family Based Solutions. Works holistically with families to support those that have experienced domestic abuse, but more specifically child to parent abuse. So that's kind of where I come from a charity perspective. I really value and respect everything that you've said about young people and the unemployment issues. It's huge. It's huge out there. I've got myself, a 19-year-old and a 22-year-old, both experiencing, yeah. So completely understand and look forward to kind of how we can also support you in helping our young people, because, you know, they are our future.
Definitely, and we want them to stay in Enfield. I mean, certainly I've grown up all over the place, and one of the things I did on purpose was, as I stopped still and raised my children in one place. And I remember I think it was, obviously COVID's been so disruptive to young people, just remarkable. I think as adults we coped with it better than young people. And my son went to the pub, and he said he knew everybody there. And I said, that's because you've grown up here, and that's an absolute marvel. And you won't appreciate that as young people. They cannot recognize just how deep that sea of certainty of their network is, and we need to, nourish it and encourage them. But we're very fortunate in Enfield, and I touched on that. We are within the M25, but we are north, so we can get north very quickly. I mean, it's always surprises me with my family. I can just get in the car and go straight up, whereas to get down to Kingston on Thames and things, well, that can take me as long as it gets me to Middle England. So network is brilliant. The network for Enfield is brilliant, and we need to work on it. And obviously there's lots of decisions to be made. And to James's point, yes, I am the mayor now, so I'm out of the major political strife, but I'm there to sort of like promote, champion, and I'm really looking forward to it. And of course Chris as well is my deputy now, so it's been a big change.
You chair the meetings as well. That, I think you're going to chair them really well. I think you're very fair and you're very intelligent. I think I'm looking forward to the meetings
Well,
with you in charge.
all these comments are very kind, but the most important thing is transparency and getting the videos out and making sure that people are listening in. And certainly there's a lot of work to be done, but we're in 2026 now. There are no excuses for not sharing public platform. Your public, you might not be able to catch it at X time on X date, but it's going to be there for your consumption, and you're going to see what your elected people are saying and how they're behaving and what they're doing. I'm going to be certain about that.
Wow.
One thing, just a suggestion, just a thing is get someone to redo the council's website because it is atrocious. It is one of the worst things to try and find information out. I agree with you. You know, this has always been a problem with Enfield Council is you don't trying to get that information. I mean, James has to pull it out like old donkey's old tooth to try and get stuff. You know, we shouldn't be doing that. We should
No.
be able to just go somewhere and say, this, I want to find out this, you know.
Well,
Well,
I want to.
Councillor Andrew Thorpe has now been taken cabinet member for communications, and he is brilliant at it. You know, and we have a lot of young councillors now who are much more technologically savvy than I am. I couldn't even put my mute button on and off, so I can't say it comes easily. And obviously, I've got the diaries to be managed. So yes, we're in a modern age, and if we're behind on it, that's just not fair.
Emma, you are giving me such an, not just me, I think the whole of our community, an air of optimism. And it feels so good and fresh and lovely. And I think we're all proud to live in Enfield to make it a better place. Now,
It's a
this show
wonderful
usually,
borough.
sorry,
It's a wonderful borough. I mean, you
lovely
can go on a
place.
train at Enfield Town and be in Liverpool Street in 35
Yeah,
minutes.
in
And within
35
10
minutes,
minutes,
exactly.
you can be walking around Trent Park and not see another soul. I love it. I, genuinely love it.
Mm.
We're very
And it's
lucky.
down to us all to make it a better place. Now, this show usually finishes at 10. We always wrap it up with what we're all doing at the weekend. It's that human touch to the end of the show. There's no rule to say that we have to finish at 10, but for those that do tune in, there's also events that we usually promote within Enfield. How are we going to deal with that in 6 minutes? It's going to be really tough. But Emma, what do you plan? Look, you're a very busy person now. Your phone is going to. You're so gracious. You replied to all your messages. Let's do you first. What are you doing at the weekend?
Can I just say it's taking me quite a lot of time to respond to all the messages, but I will get there. I think this is possibly my last quiet weekend for the rest of my life. I have got an event. Someone's already said, could you come round and support last minute? I mean, obviously, if you want the mayor to come, then you please go through Cooler, our mayor's office, so that we can formally do it. There is a process to be done and a lot of things in place, and we can't be everywhere. And when I can't be there, we'll have the deputy mayor, Chris Joanides. And I think it's really important. I will broadcast some of these afternoon parlour events that I've got planned, get the archivist to come in and talk, and I think her work will be invaluable, and we'll be asking her questions all the time. And I will publish those. And if you want to come to those, you just send in your name to the mayor's office so that you can be invited in, because obviously there's some formalities that need to be gone forward. And what I'm most looking forward to, though, is not this weekend, it's Tuesday night, and going into my brownie pack as the mayor of Enfield. I have made sure that will happen, because if I walk in just as Brown Owl, so don't tell the kids, but the mayor is turning up. And I think that will be
that'll be fantastic.
Emma, you leave the show whenever you want. We did you first because you are going to be incredibly busy. The people of Enfield are really behind you. Everything you say comes from such a good place, such a wonderful place. So as a clinician, a fellow clinician, you're empathetic too. And I think sometimes politicians miss that empathetic side. So looking forward to the next 12 months. Wow.
Well, thank you. And thank you for having me on, gents. Take care.
We're the lucky ones.
Goodbye. Bye.
Bye.
That air of optimism. Do you feel it?
Yeah. It's we're right at the beginning. So it's going to be, let's see what happens.
And she bangs the same drum as me. Businesses pay taxes. Businesses employ people. I love what we're talking about, businesses and growth in Enfield. So do you usually do the round robin? Who's next?
Oh, Panay.
Panay. What are you doing at the weekend?
What am I doing at the weekend? Listen, I don't know if I'm going to get booed off now, but there is only one thing we're going to be doing this weekend. Come on, you Gunners. So tonight is the match. I'm going to be going to Grecian Wines on Chase Side. Going to be having a Greek sausage and a beer and watching the match on the big screen.
Wow.
And then also it's a local business, so I want to support them. And they're also having their second birthday party on Sunday. So that's where I'll be. I'll be
you and my wife,
in my local community.
I am impressed that you got up this early because my wife got home at 3 o'clock in the morning, and you're a bad influence on her.
That me, I think your wife's
Hello,
the bad influence on me, I have to
well
say.
done. That I like to see Enfield Town thriving. Night economy is a big deal. Thank you. I don't know what that was all about, but I we need the nighttime economy, and there was
Listen, Gary,
something to
is
do with.
we are so blessed in Enfield. Seriously, I love this borough. We've got huge businesses, local businesses, smaller businesses. We've got an abundance of charities. They all do incredible work, and we need exposure, and we need linking together. And let's hope that with this administration we can have that support and a bit of infrastructure support to progress some really positive changes this year.
And central to that is our local newspaper. So if you're a business and you're watching this, put an advert in. I need to put my money where my mouth is. I'm putting an advert in. And if the local newspaper thrives, it holds everybody to account. So I'll get off my soapbox. Who's next?
Hey,
Well, Gary
James.
is holding people to account, but it's also providing a platform for people like Pane and the
Yeah,
charities. So you know, for charities, you know, if Pane, if you wanted to write something about the work that your charity does, I mean, I think we have publicized your charity previously, but if you wanted to write a piece, you know, saying about all the great things that you do, you're very
They
Oh,
were
welcome
in
to do that.
absolutely, I'm
EastEnders,
going to take
James.
you up on that, James.
Great.
James, they were in EastEnders. They helped write a line about EastEnders. Not that I know
Oh
much about
yeah.
that.
Yeah, you should. Yeah, you should maybe write something about that, and you know that sounds great. But yeah,
Aisha's
we're
just
as
popped on. Aisha's actually one of the co-CEOs of Family Based Solutions. Morning, babe.
Morning. I just wanted to drop on because I noticed that Jackie Dyer is on here from Unite in Fitness.
We
And I
love you,
want to
Jackie.
say,
Hello.
Jackie and the team, we are so thankful on behalf of Family Based Solutions, volunteers, every single person that has access to Family Based Solutions for your really, really, really cool quiz night. Alexa, stop. Really cool quiz night. You guys went out of your way to put on a quiz night for us. I couldn't even be there that evening because I was so ill. So when I saw Jackie was on here, I was like, I've got to come on and publicly say, Uniting
James,
Fitness,
so you know Jackie Dyer
thank
and her
you.
husband keep Enfield fit. They're crazy.
They're
They got
brilliant.
springy things, and they do really like their dance classes are legendary. Like
yeah.
Salsa and wow. Oh, she's gone.
No, I'm here. I'm here.
Oh,
I'm here. I'm just pressing buttons. Hold on. That's
okay.
it. I don't know what I'm doing. It's from my phone. That's fine. Um, the other thing is, I just want to quickly say, and then I'll leave you guys alone because I know that you're supposed to be going off at 10. What I would urge the new administration and the new mayor to look at is not popularity, but charities that are at risk of closing, and the charities that are risk that of closing with huge outcomes.
Yeah.
For example, Young Carers Centre. Another example, Enfield Women's Centre. Another example, ECYPS. Another example, Family Based Solutions. I don't know the stats for the other organisations that I have just mentioned, but I know they will be bloody brilliant. And in a way, and everyone knows I'm really outspoken, I want all the charities in Enfield, the good charities, to shut down for 2 weeks and let's see what happens to the borough.
Yeah.
Let's just see what happens. 2 weeks.
I
Domestic
love a
abuse would be
disruptor.
through the roof. Everything would go through the roof. Since 2012, family-based solutions alone have saved the council over £8 million.
Yes.
Right? That's just us. What about young carers? What about the rest? The good charities I'm talking about, right? What about the rest of them? It's the most disheartening thing when Jeannie, who has been working for ECYPS for a very long for Enfield Women's Centre for a very long time and has volunteered hours and hours and hours there, sends an email to say we can't afford £2,000 to support the women. Are you shitting me?
Your passion comes across so
What's that?
well.
But
Half a
isn't that
dozen speeding
disgusting?
fines.
Isn't
Yeah.
that disgusting
Nothing.
though? Isn't that disgusting that this woman This woman who's got so many health needs, everything else, is advocating for this charity that's done amazing throughout the years and asking for, can you spare £5, £20, £10 to help us support victims of domestic abuse? Because we've got nada. That is disgusting. So you know what? The last administration can do one, and this is administration. Let's hope it's better, because no one is listening. People are hearing, but no one is listening. Family-based solutions at this rate will be closing down in 1 year. What are you going to do then?
Yeah.
Give them a chance, and I love how passionate you are. That's
It's not
right
about
from a
giving
good
anyone a
place as well.
chance. It's not about giving anyone a chance. People need to know what questions to ask, rather than let's just wait and see. Waiting and seeing don't get you nothing. You have to ask the right questions. What are the outputs? What's happening in Enfield? What are these stats? Which charities are doing the most work? What does that work look like? What outcomes are we getting? Without, if these charities were to fold, what would that look like for our borough? That is a question that needs to be asked and answered.
And thank God for people like you that care and are willing to stick their neck out. Thank you. What are you doing at the weekend?
I'm not representing just family-based solutions here.
I know you're coming here with a good platform.
Weekend, guess what I'm doing? I'm working. I'm taking on lots of private jobs because we've got no money for the charity. That's what I'm doing on the weekend.
Do you feel appreciated?
Hell no.
All right, well, I do, and we do.
We do, yes, we do. Absolutely.
So then no. Clients don't feel, no one feels appreciated. No one in the charity sector feels appreciated. And if they say they do, it's because they're smoking something up someone's backside. That's what it is.
I think a lot of the problems is a lot of people don't know what charities there are and what they do.
Yeah,
There's a lack
you're
of
right.
communication.
And we're
But please do take up the chance to just write something about
something
what you
out.
do,
James will put it in.
and if you want
You know what?
to turn your article into like an appeal for help, do it, and then just send me the article and I'll publish it. No problem.
There you go.
You know what? I think we need to do something as a collective within Enfield with charities, and not charities solo, because there are
Maybe
so
you
many.
know what we need? We need a
struggling
charity day.
Yeah, maybe
Maybe a charity
Everton,
day.
maybe the right person to do that. James, what are you doing at the weekend?
I'm going because I've actually got a private client. See you guys soon.
You made an impact. Well done.
I know. I'm short and sweet. That's what happens. Bye.
Bye.
She's amazing. Like a firecracker.
What am I doing? Today I'm putting my feet up because I need a bit of a break, but tomorrow my parents are in London, so we're going to walk around Richmond Park because they want to see all the deer in Richmond Park.
That's nice.
It's nice. Yeah.
That's nice.
That's nice.
That's nice. Hannah, did we say who's left? Me, you, and I?
Yeah.
Me and so today, I don't know if you know this. This is official. For years and years and years, my friends and family have said, Gary, you've got ADHD. You've definitely got this thing. And I plucked up the courage to have an assessment yesterday. Was it yesterday, the day before? And I've been told that I have ADHD and autism, they're a mix. So I'm going to spend some time understanding what that means. How does that? I need some medication, slow down my thoughts. So when you get diagnosed with something like that, you need the time to reflect and absorb and make it sit. So I need that, and then hopefully Arsenal will win the Champions League. Yeah, there you go. I'm sure Leah's got some plans for me with some DIY over the weekend. So, you Malcolm?
Well, I've been good because it's been no May Mo May. So I know it's the last day, but tomorrow. But I'm going to cut the grass today because I can't do it tomorrow. So that's my plan.
But you said to leave it for the bees.
For May, yeah.
Okay.
That's what it's done. There's no Mo May.
No more May.
So yeah. So leave it for the bees, and so I'm going to do that today.
Don't you think that James, when he comes on, are the best shows?
Oh, he's
They're the best
good.
shows.
It's always good.
Well, there's always just so much to talk about, Gary, isn't there? Like Enfield is just bonkers as like the amount of stuff that's going on. Yeah, but it's great. We love it.
So what I usually say is what you say, James. Anything hot ticket coming up? Anything we should keep an eye out for?
Oh, well, in terms of news, it's not gonna go quiet. Like there's gonna be announcements and things going on every single day. So just, I mean, the paper is out. The June issue of the paper
Yeah,
is out. So Gary, you'll be getting, because you get yours delivered. You'll be getting that. Probably if you haven't got it already, you'll get it on Monday.
yeah.
But everyone else, if you don't subscribe, you can still get it at the newsstand at Enfield Town Station or any of the other 14 newsstands that we've got. So go out and get your copy.
If you want to find out who are the new councillors, what's the cabinet,
Yeah.
you can find out on the Enfield Council website.
Enfield Dispatch puts it in a nice,
But the
neat
dispatch is
column.
much more accessible,
Yeah,
Malcolm, as
Exactly.
you know.
Puts it nice
You're
and
gonna
neatly
spend
for you.
half a day on their website, but yeah, go to Enfield Dispatch, and it'll all be there. Who's doing what, where, and when.
I hope everyone watching has enjoyed this as much as we have. Look, there's so many comments. We haven't had time. Shireen and Jackie and Louise and Robert and everyone.
Thomas and
Thank you.
everyone. Thank you.
There is a phone line, you know, you can ring in and get disrupted. Everyone, have a lovely day. James, we'll see you in 4 weeks, unless you fancy coming in before, because there's so much happening. Hannah, thank you for hopping on. Get your writing out and contact
Yeah.
James.
Everybody have